Today, we discuss networking, relationships, and helping people discover their talents. Ben shares his personal story about loss and gratitude, plus childhood memories. This is Twin City Tales. Let's go.
From working in his family's Chinese restaurant, to bartending, to becoming present-day owner of Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, my father's true superpower is human connection. Now, he's on a mission to capture the most fascinating stories that make up the Minnesota community. You're listening to the Twin City Tales podcast.
Today, with 20 years plus experience as a business owner, a sales advisor, public speaker, and leadership consultant, Ben Bina knows how to spark change. Passionate about boosting self-awareness, smarter workflows, and happier teams, he's ready to share engaging stories and practical insights that inspire growth. Join me and discover what makes Ben tick. Thank you for coming on the show, Ben. This is going to be a great show.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
So, for those of you out there, Ben and I met at a business networking group in 2008 called BNI. And for those of you out there, if you've never heard of BNI, how would you describe it, Ben?
I think BNI is a good way to describe it is just a group of local business owners and service or sales professionals that are looking to network with one another and have trusted resources to share with their friends, their family, their clients. So that way, when someone says, hey, my furnace is on the fritz, who do I call? And I'm like, you can call Wyman.
Someone that we know and trust, and same with you when you were doing the insurance business. Ben is somebody I know and trust, and that really worked out well. And it's a matter of developing individual relationships too, like what we've done all these years.
I think an added way to provide value and service for your clients and your friends and family, whatever it might be, is that they can call you for something outside of your expertise, where they know that you're not going to try to be, a one size fits all and do everything. That if you need someone in another industry, you've already got someone that you vetted, and if they trust you, they're going to have some immediate accountability, or that other person will have some trust with your referral, and just gives the opportunity to have them not have to hunt down and vet people out themselves, right? You can have some trust before they make the call or come in your front door.
Yeah, and after a few years, like we've been in that group and we developed a relationship, there was times where we would not see each other for a year or two, but we would run into each other like in different events. And what was really cool about that was a sign of a good friendship is like, we just pick up where we left off. Like we might not have seen each other for 2-3 years. And it's like, boom, we're just talking baseball again and all the different things we've done in the past. And we would run into each other in most unexpected places. Do you remember any of them that we ran into?
Well, I remember vividly when we hadn't seen each other for a couple of years. I was watching some late night baseball, and then here comes Wyman Wong and Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric on TV, and I'm like, dude's on TV now? I got to find out what's going on with him. And I was excited to see it, right? But also very curious to find out, like, well, how have we gotten to this point where we're running ads, during a Twins game? And so that was the first one that pops in my head, and one that I still really enjoy thinking about.
That's funny, and usually, at least I feel like I have that face for radio, right? like I didn't even know why I did those commercials, but it was effective, and it was, I don't know if it was the best use of our money, but it got our branding out there, so people did mention it when we call them up. But the one thing that I do remember was running into a weird spot was a place called Working with Women. Like you showed up for Wishes and More, and I somewhat have an ego. I mean, I always like to call it Working with Wyman, but
I like that.
And they run that by the North Metro Chamber. It's run by the Metro North Chamber, and it's interesting because we were just talking about networking groups and Working with Women. I don't know how you felt about it, but when you walk in, it's like all of a sudden it's turned, because most networking groups have really male dominated. And this one, when I first went to it, I felt like, okay, I got to really be careful what I talk about or what I say. And I feel like women have that same feel Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to be cognizant of how we're communicating with our audience, whether that audience is a one-on-one conversation or we're speaking to a group of 30 women or 30 business owners or a different number of different people, and I think it's really based in respect, and a drive to be of service and solve a problem or provide a solution to the people that have that specific need that you can be of service on, right? But if we come in with the same message every time, regardless of our audience, we're going to miss more than we hit.
Yeah. And I love having conversations with you because of your business command clarity. I'm not trying to like get free information from you, but I kind of do pick your brain a little bit because it really is about how we interact with each other and understanding each other's personalities. How did you get into being so interested in that?
I was having a conversation with a colleague and a friend a couple of months ago, and we were talking about the idea of follow your passion, right? And I think this it's almost become a cliche that hey, you got to work in your passion, you got to follow your passion, and we kind of worked it into the idea of follow your fascination. So in this particular example, my friend Roger is from Colorado, and he loves fly fishing. He's absolutely passionate about fly fishing. So he's like, I'm going to follow my passion. I'm going to be a fly fisherman guide. You know what you do when you're a fly fisherman guide? You don't fly fish. You help rookies like me who aren't quite sure what to do, that probably aren't wearing their waders correctly, whose feet are now cold because the water got in, and you help them put new, bait on and wire. I can't even. I'm not the guy that should be on the fly fishing trip, right? I'm the guy that's going to drive you bonkers. So Roger follows his passion. He's working with people like me, and he's not fly fishing. So now he's lost some of that passion of working in that industry. He found out he's very fascinated by how marketing works, right? What type of product goes viral? What type of book or article or idea catches the attention of the masses? And so he ended up starting a marketing business, and it's very successful. And so I think when you follow your fascination, you can't get enough of that particular thing. Like you just want more and you want more. And you find one new idea and you can connect that to 2 or 3 or more questions. And then when you have those questions, you want to go find the answers to those. And so I think you can live in your passion, enjoy that, go fly fishing, be there by yourself, be there with a friend or a colleague who is comfortable, maybe not talking for an hour or two, and just fly fishing. And then work in your fascination, because if you can't get enough of it, you're going to find a wonderful way to be of service to others. And I think that's where Command Clarity started from, was just a fascination in how people communicate with one another, how they build the best version of themselves, and recognizing and, again, being fascinated by your best version of yourself is going to require different steps and routines and habits than mine. And we'll find some things that overlap, right? But it's not a one size fits all, right? Your size fits you, my size fits me, and then to be able to articulate and recognize what's working, and then also know where to make some adjustments to continue to, again, just be that best version of yourself, and do that not only for yourself, but for your community, your friends, your family, your clients, right? How do you make sure that you're hearing what the other person is asking and doing your best to solve the problem that they're asking you to solve?
That's great. I made me, when you started going into that, it made me think of like, part of it is like that passion and what's your why, right? And if you've read the Simon Sinek book, Start With Your Why, that's a lot of what your program kind of digs into. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it really is. I think, if we put success in the middle of the table, there's a near infinite amount of ways to get to that successful end result. But there's not any one way to get there. So you're going to have your process and your ways that you're comfortable with, that then your clients and your prospects and your employees are comfortable hearing it from you. And that's going to lead to success. I might get there a different way. Your next guest is going to get there a different way from both of us. But that doesn't mean that we all can't arrive at the same place of finding success. And when teams can do that, they can recognize the value that you bring and the way that you bring it. And then there's patience and understanding and sort of a clarity, and then a celebration of the way that you bring your talents to the table, creates a bigger bubble of success that we can all go hit. and that elevates our opportunity for efficiency and strategic planning, whatever it might be, right? So a lot of different ways that people can find their rhythm and their routine and their success.
Yeah, and you've probably helped many companies, like whether they're like 3 people. I think it would be really strong for like business partnerships. That would really help too, finding their clarity. And how do you help in that sense? Do you feel like
it's I've worked with a number of different industries, and there's times where I might not know much about the product or the process, right? And there's others that I might be a little bit more well versed in. But for me, it all comes down to people, and people are incredibly similar. In we all have challenges, we all have fears, we all have aspirations, and I think really at the core, we all want to live to be the best version of ourselves, not only for ourselves but for the people that we care about most. And I just am absolutely fascinated by finding what that button is for each person, helping them articulate it, absolutely own it and identify with it, and then helping the other leaders around them recognize that person's talent, and utilize it to maximize opportunities for themselves and their organization.
Oh, that's a fantastic way of putting it. I really like that. That's incredible. And, and the one thing that I've always found fascinating about you, and I'm just so impressed by you, is that your consistently positive outlook. Even, I know once you told me a story about your brother Lou, and you shared with that story with me, and it really touched me. We all have our own paths, and like you said, and part of each one matters. Can you share your story with me and the people who are listening today, tuning in? I mean, that's such a fascinating story, I feel like, and your positivity.
Yeah, thank you. So it's nice always to hear his name, Lou. Lou's my younger brother. I'm the oldest of 5, and Lou passed away in 2015. He died by suicide. And that will rock you to your core. And life is full of road bumps, and some of those you don't notice when you go over them, and others might be so big that you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get around that thing. And losing my brother was one of the hardest things I've gone through, but it also gave an opportunity to recognize and be immersed in the love and the support that come from people that care about you and care about Lou and care about your family. And you can take all of that, and as you build your new normal, because anytime we have some sort of major disruption in our life, normal as we knew it before is gone. And the longer that we work to try to get that normal back, I think the longer the path it is to find our new rhythm and find comfort in our new normal. And so normal ends that day, and you work towards your new normal. And so there was a recognition of that pretty soon afterwards. I don't know where it came from, but I remember vividly deciding to own it, deciding to cap off anytime that there was heavy emotions with something that I was genuinely grateful for that was present in my life. And that certainly starts with my lovely bride, my daughters. My parents are incredible. I have 3 amazing sisters. And then that doesn't even start to tap into the friends and the extended family that were there for us, unquestioned. And to have all of those people drop whatever they were doing to be there for us, really instilled an amount of gratitude and recognition that this is what people want. People want to be there for people that they care about. They don't want to worry about things that are out of their control, and they don't want to worry about what's on the news today or how their favorite sports team did. Those things are cool and they can matter, but I think their value in their life becomes very relative when there's a major disruption. And so to have those people be there for us just gave me the opportunity to soak that in, to keep that, to own it, still be heartbroken and grieve for my brother, but also, work to live in ways that he would be proud of. And so it's something 9.5 years later now that is a daily part of my life, and we've chosen to simply just find the good and the gratefulness in it, to move forward and own our new normal.
And part of that, I can feel it off you at times, is like, how can I help you? That's like so powerful, right? And we talked about that before when you use those words, can you, or not just how can I help you, but also being powerful enough to say, can I get some help from you? Those are really powerful words. And is that something that you add into some of your command clarity?
Yeah, we try to find different ways that certain phrases or words or approaches are going to resonate with a large swath of people, and that is a absolutely fantastic phrase. Can you help me with something? I think humans at their core, from an existential standpoint, want to be of service to others. They want to help. I feel valued when someone says, "Hey, can you help me with this?" If they ask me to help them like install a dishwasher, I don't feel quite as valued, because I'm like, what screwdriver you want? The one with the X on it or the straight one? Not my strength, but it's still nice that someone asks, hey, can you help me with this? And so if there's any tension either in that relationship, or if you're calling, an 800 number and you get the person on the phone, you don't know what their last conversation was. You don't know if the person was short with them, was disrespectful. You don't know what kind of day they've had coming in. And you can really get the two people on the same page by saying, hey, Wyman, can you help me with something? And you just wait for them to say yes. And that starts to build a little bit of camaraderie, a little rapport, and you show your gratitude as a person calling in, and they're going to be more than happy to be of service. And they start to find different ways that they can solve the problem for you. If you call in and you start demanding things and you're short and you're impatient, you're not giving them any reason to want to help you. And then sometimes you might see the difference between service and hospitality. Service is, hey, I gave you what you asked for, what I had to do. We're done here. And hospitality is, I gave you what you asked for, but I heard you say these things. Here's a couple other options for you. Here's a couple alternatives. Here's a couple other ways that you can, solve this problem or make it into a new opportunity. So I think, can you help me can give you the opportunity to change from a service conversation to a hospitality conversation.
Love it. Yeah. And, my previous guest, Danielle, one of the things that we talked about is like just being present, right? And listening to that person, because you just never know what that person's going through or what they've been through. And I think I talked about on the last show, there's things that we just take for granted, and that we look at that other person and go, oh yeah, the life is good. Life is just fine for them. When I went to the doctors the other day and my yearly checkup, and they handed me like these list of questions asking like, in 12 months, have you worried about paying your mortgage? Have you worried about not having enough food on your table? Have you ever spent more money and come to on food and then come to the end of the week and not have money for food? Do you have transportation to get things you need, just your basic necessities? That's a reality for some people, and we forget that, I think, especially if you're living your day-to-day life, and paying it forward is huge. Mm-hmm. And that's a thing that I get from you a lot when I hear you talk about these things. And maybe that's why we have such a good relationship through these years.
That's certainly right up there, right? When you've got that rapport and that belief in others, and the recognition that, yeah, I have some challenges in my life. We all have challenges, right? And we're all going to have problems. And we can do our best to make sure that the problems we have are good problems, but then also recognize that, anything from a statistical standpoint, almost anything could happen to almost any person. So things don't happen to you. And that part of that is an outlook and an acceptance of your place in the universe, if you will. And then part of it is a recognition that you can get through hard things. And as you were talking about, checking off the questionnaire at the doctor's office, how many things do we check no to that other people have to check yes to? And that can be a form and an opportunity to be grateful for the things that are present in your life. And sometimes we have to check yes on something. And instead of like owning that from a negative standpoint, you could look at it and say, well, I said no to 15 things. I said yes to one. All right, well, let's let's tackle that one thing, and then I can move on with my day, and again continue to do the best to be a great community member, to be patient, to be thoughtful, to be curious. These are all things that are going to elevate our consciousness and elevate our ability to be present with other people.
That's some great information for our audience out there. One of the things that I actually work on when I'm like in that down state and I'm just trying to figure out things and I'm angry kind of the world and I'm thinking a little bit like, why is this happening to me? I think like I should start reversing it and saying things happen because of me. So that's the only way I can own it and take some responsibility. But one of the practices that I use is like, once I get in that position, I start every morning, I try and go, okay, what am I grateful for this morning? And then something before I go to sleep, what am I grateful for? And that really helps you pull through a lot of stuff. It's like, I think it sets you up emotionally to a certain extent. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think a morning routine and a nighttime routine are absolute core concepts and activities to your ability to be present. And then if you're not present, it gives you the ability to pull that process, pull that feeling, pull that recognition that I need to be present here. And if you don't have that morning routine and that evening routine, you're just blowing in the wind, right? Whatever direction the wind is blowing that day is where you might end up. And so I think a lot of the idea and the value of having that morning routine and that evening routine is you're kind of building your own inner reserve. The more that we can start with our own thoughts and sitting with them and articulating them and potentially even accepting them, the more that we can bring our best version of ourselves out to the rest of the world. But if we start with the rest of the world, when we've got 16,000 decisions to make every single day and then bring it inside, it's going to be a jumbled mess in your head because you're just trying to figure out where you fit there, what you're comfortable with, what you like, what you don't like, and that makes it really difficult because starting from the inner reserve, you now bring what you want to find in the world to you. And if you want to start your day with frustration and anger and a lack of gratitude, the world's going to show you that. And if you want to start your day with things that you're grateful for that are present in your life, your opportunities, things don't happen to me, I make things happen, the world's going to show you that as well. So it's in the long run, it's a choice. And sometimes that choice is hard to stick with because you don't always get that immediate dopamine rush. You kind of get it slowly dripped over a long period of time. Sometimes those decisions that maybe aren't the greatest in the long run are tough because they give you immediate feedback and you might get a little bit of immediate gratification. But that more often than not is starting with what's best for the external versus what's best for the internal.
Wow. This is a lot. Great information. I mean, usually I have a conversation, I might get one or two $10,000 nuggets. Like you just gave me like $400,000 of nuggets. It's amazing. Let's take a short break here, and we'll come right back and get a little more from this conversation. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Tired of lugging heavy bags of water softener salt from the store? Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric now delivers premium water softener salt right to your home in returnable, reusable 20-pound containers to go green and light it up to save you from injury. Serving the north suburbs, we're your neighbors who know how hard our water is. No more running out of salt and dealing with spotty dishes and stiff laundry. Quality salt, reliable delivery, local service you can trust. Because at Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric, we don't just keep your home comfortable, we keep your water soft and your life easy. Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric, now with water softener salt delivery. Call today or visit us online. And we're back from our break. And in this part, I kind of asked your dad for some young pictures of you, so you might not have seen this. I'm bringing this in as a surprise. And for our listeners, this is a picture of Ben when he was about 7 years old with Matt Blair sitting in what looks like his living room with that with that brown paneling in the back. And for those of you out there, like my son, the magician behind the scenes, handling all our podcasts, he's 26 years old, Dan Marino Wong. He has no clue who Matt Blair was.
Yeah.
And Matt Blair, for the people out there, played middle linebacker for the Vikings. And he actually was 6-time Pro Bowler, which is pretty good in itself, 2 times in the Super Bowl. But when I looked up his stat after I got that picture, he had 20 block kicks in the NFL.
Did he really?
Yeah, he blocked 20 kicks in the NFL. That's amazing. I mean, I feel like
incredible.
And it was like the third. He's the third leader, and he's in third place for that. But if a guy gets a block kick this day and age,
that's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's on SportsCenter.
Yeah,
again and again.
So, how the heck did you get Matt Blair in your living room?
Well, I had nothing to do with him being there because if he knew that as a former Minnesota Viking, the person he was going to see was going to have a Miami Dolphins football, a Phoenix Cardinal shirt on, and a Washington Redskins hat, he probably wouldn't have come over. But, sports wonk that I was like, no, I like football. See, look. So he was a friend of the family. We had one of the gals that worked with my dad was good friends with Matt. And so my dad brought him over just to have dinner and hang out, and he was terrific. And I don't remember the last time I saw that picture, but it immediately comes right back. He signed a 1980 Topps football card for me that I still have, and I know right where it is. And just that's a great pick. Well done, Mark Bina.
So, it's kind of funny. And on top of that, everybody like in certain age limits kind of know or their age level. But one of the things that in my age group, if you played football in that time frame, you actually went to Matt Blair football camp back in those days. I don't know if did you get a chance to do that?
I did not. No, we just had Matt Blair come to our living room with our wood paneling.
With that 70s wood grain look paneling in the background. So the next picture is here's you. The envy of the neighborhood on your golden Hot Wheel, Eagle Hot Wheel, big wheel.
Yeah.
That's not Hot Wheel, big wheel.
That's a big wheel.
You're holding an eagle in one hand. And a Eagle construction helmet on your head.
You know what it is? It's a Tino Grace Eagles cross country hat. My dad has filmed the TG football games for like 55 years now. He retired after 50 years. We had a big celebration for him, and then he kind of snuck back and didn't tell anyone. And we're like, "Wait, you retired? We had a party for you. You went back?" And he's like, I went back. So that's great. But he worked at TG for a lot of years and is still very much involved with the program and with the school. And so that's me in my TG gear with my sweet big wheel. I bet dollars to donuts I wanted that big wheel because of Smokey and the Bandit. That big, that's the part. I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's Smokey and the Bandit. He's got gold rims. That thing's sweet, right? We can confirm with my dad, but I bet that's it.
That's fantastic. That's awesome about your dad. So he might have he might be able to get access of game clips of Underwood.
Oh yeah,
and Matt Underwood and Scott Vonderhaar.
Absolutely, he's got that. There'll be times where he'll be like, if I say someone, Scott or a friend Dave Graham, and he'll be like, do I know him? And I'll be like, offensive line 95, 96. He'll be like, I got him. Yeah, number 76. And I'm like, yeah. You can call him Dave, but no, offensive line. Yep. So it's right. So he can identify anyone from TG football or just the TG community. It's pretty impressive.
That's awesome. For you guys that are in Minnesota that don't know TG, I think those listening to Tino Grace, those are the beautiful people school.
It is. Yes. Yeah.
What do you think you were thinking of at that moment?
I look awesome. I'm going to go fast. All right. I'm gonna skid out and probably make Dukes of Hazzard sounds. And it was A-Team, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, and Smokey and the Bandit. Right. If I wasn't into sports, it was cars that go fast and run away from the law.
That's awesome. So, getting a little serious now, a little bit more, looking at those pictures, they are pretty funny. But what would this younger version of you think about who you've become?
Oh, good question. I would think, a vast majority of days, he'd be pretty proud and pretty grateful. One that I'm still into sports and I still think cars are cool. I might dress a little bit, better or at least more coordinated by not having a Washington hat, a Phoenix shirt, and a Miami football. Maybe this is the best one that he might be proud of. I've got daughters that can throw the bejeebies out of a football all day long. They'll throw a football and play catch. So probably be proud of that. And I guess I'm probably grateful for that dude doing his part to give me the opportunity to be here today.
Nice. Love it. So as we're wrapping up, for the audience at least, someone who you'd love to hear or see on this podcast and why.
I have a friend and a colleague, Ryan Gatormson. He's the owner of MinPro. They do contracting, roofing and siding contracting, and they do interior work as well. But Ryan's got a really terrific and eclectic background, a lot of great stories to share. And he's been a friend and a confidant, if you will, as well, that he can share things and he can find ways to build comfort in other people and get down to the core of what they need, whether it's a professional service or a personal conversation. So Ryan's a great community member, great dad, wonderful friend, and a terrific business owner.
I was blessed to meet him at the Wishes and More golf tournament that you got me into. So that's really cool. Really good guy. Yeah, I'll have to have him on the show.
And he can bomb a drive. It doesn't matter. Like it'll look like he's using a club from Caddyshack, and the guys that are with him have brand new clubs, and we're still 20 yards behind him every time.
It's really about the motion. He's a good sized guy, but just the right. What do they call that? The right. Everything comes together just right for
it's
him.
all a form, right? Yeah, that's why, sometimes you just have the gift from God, but boy, Pedro Martinez was 5'10" and 110 pounds soaking wet, but he could throw 98 and that ball could move. Right?
Yes,
a lot of it's just the timing and the windup.
And you see these guys that are a little smaller that can just hit the heck out of a baseball.
Yep.
Swat her out of the yard.
Yep. That's where you got to come up and in on that guy. Get him a little bit more uncomfortable on my plate. I say former pitcher, but I was a thrower. Pitchers know where it's going.
You have the pitcher mentality. So that about, I just want to present you with a couple gifts. And actually, since you gave me those cards one time unexpectedly, I'm going to give you a Tim McIntosh card.
McIntosh. Oh, this is awesome. A little 91 John Ross rated rookie. This is fantastic.
He'll tell you that's really good for kindling wood or kindling. But
that's grand.
Really nice guy. I'm hoping to bring him on the show. And he's an awesome fella, into real estate now. And just a good friend. And he has some stories to tell too. So,
and he'll tell you in this picture that he was watching a home run.
Yes, probably.
If he doesn't, he needs a new story. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
And then also for being on the show, I wanted to, it's just a little token of appreciation.
Thank you.
A little thank you. Not a big trophy, but and then on top of that.
Trophy's a trophy, man. Thank you.
On top of that, I know how much you love baseball, and we talked a little bit about it, but these are tickets for the Securing Club up at the Saints.
Oh, thank you.
And all the free alcohol, but you don't drink alcohol, which is good.
Yep.
But you get a lot of free food and all the sodas you want up there. And
thank you. I will run them out of Diet Coke.
Exactly. Whoa, what happened to your beard? For the audiences listening out there, Ben has now returned without a beard and a dapper new sweater. So what else in your life has changed, Ben?
Well, Wyman, first off, thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. I think it was the hot lights and the hot seat here that made me need to go change my sweater here today. No, we're back after a couple of weeks. I was certain I wore this blue sweater. I did not. But I've got a big change in my life that I'm very excited about. I've joined the J. Dacey mortgage team, and I'll be specializing in providing service to my community as a reverse mortgage specialist. So I couldn't be more excited to join his team, have him be a mentor, and really, again, just be of service to my community in ways that they can find value in their life after they retire.
Wow, congratulations on your new position. And man, just another journey in your life. And we can bring you on the show to talk about that again. Again, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. No, literally, again. Coming on. Thank you for being on Twin City Tales. If you want to talk to Ben directly, you can get a hold of him at 651-259-1954. You can also email him at ben@jdacey.com. That's Ben at J as in Johnny, A as in Apple, Y as in yellow, D as in David, A as in Apple, C as in Charlie, E as in Edward, Y as in yellow.com. Legal disclaimer, NMLS, that's a mouthful, 272-9340. And the other one, J. Dacey Mortgage Team Incorporated, NMLS 1812066. You can also visit jdacey.com if you want to learn more about Ben's new company, or visit us at the Twin City Tales Facebook page where we will post it on there. As we roll out of here, I want to thank you, Chris Hockey, for the use of his song. Thanks, with no pun intended. Until the next show, you can't go wrong with Wyman Wong and Twin City Tales Podcast.
This song goes out to my family, to all the ones who died before me. I'm sure the family life made you do things you never wanted to, so I wrote